Now let's look at the mathematics of it. Under the present system, you work 5 days out of 7. Here we're ignoring any sort of holidays. This works out to 71 point roughly 43% of the time. Under the Loutetian calendar, you'd work 4 days out of 6, or 66.67% of the time. This gives you about 4.76, or roughly 4.8% less work days in the year. Okay, so what are the options about that and logical conclusions? Well, first of all, you could take a 4.8% pay cut. And in order to do that, I think a lot of people would give that up if they had a chance of a 4-day work week for the rest of their working life. I mean, after a couple of pay raises, you're back where you started with by anyhow. You could take the same pay. Employer is happy to do that since you are much more efficient. Well, somehow I don't know if that'll work, but you could try that as an argument. Now, one of the logical conclusions is if you work 4.8% less in a month, then new people will have to be hired to fill your spot. Okay? Hence, more employment. Also, a 2-week holiday now equals 14 days. Under the Loutetian calendar, 2-week holiday is 12 days. You may decide to go with that if you realize you're getting a 4-day work week, but that's something you can work on with your employer. Now let's look at some of the arguments against and arguments for. One of the first arguments against will be, of course, religious. God made the world in 6 days, rested on the 7th, hence the Sabbath. My feeling is it was a big job to make the world in 6 days. He should get more than 1 day off. And the logic of having 7 days a week because of that doesn't really hold. You can still have Sabbaths. Okay? Under the present system, you have a Sabbath 52 times a year, or 53 on a leap year, or in some special years that begin with Sunday or something. Under the Loutetian calendar, you would have the Sabbath 60 times or 61 times per year. So in fact, that's a really neat increase. Seventh-day Adventists, well, maybe they'll have to become the Sixth-day Adventists. People say 24/7, maybe they'll have to say 24/6. The big one as well, for some people, will be the fact that the equinoxes, solstice, start to slip each year. And for a lot of people, they're not really into the equinoxes and solstice. It won't make a big difference. The lunar cycles and these things will have to appear on new calendars every year, which means that although all of the months are going to look the same, you're going to still need to get a new calendar to find out when the equinoxes and solstices are that particular month, and the religious holidays, and the lunar cycles. For instance, job sharing is a tiny bit easier, or custody of children. One person could have them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the next one Friday, Saturday, Sunday in 1 week, or reverse it the next week. This way everybody gets them absolutely equally each week, or you would work the same number of days each week. If you went on a 2-week cycle, you could have 4 on, 4 off, 4 on. So in fact, you could have the same 2 people alternating every 4 days, or you could have 3 people sharing a job, 4 on, 4 off, 4 on. There is a 3 on, 3 off, 3 on, 3 off, so you could have 4 people sharing over a period of 2 weeks. The important thing is that 6 days and 2 weeks, which equals 12 days, you can break it up a lot more in different combinations than you can a 7-day week or 14 days for 2 weeks. course, the first big argument is the consistency of days of the week and the days of the month. Okay, so if you were born on the 24th, you're always going to be, the 24th is always on a Saturday. Every month, every year. Okay. 4-day work week. Yay! 2-day weekend. Yay! This gives you a 6-day week. That's got to be one of the big arguments. To finally, after hundreds of years, giving everybody in the world a 4-day work week. And it could happen. Now, those born in a leap year on February 29th have one birthday every 4 years. However, under the Loutetian calendar, in 7 years, you have birthdays if born in the Ats week. Okay? Only in the 8th year do you not have a birthday. So 1 out of 8 years you won't have a birthday, as opposed to the other system where 3 out of 4 years you don't have a birthday. Mind you, there's more people will be born in Ats week than any other week. More employment. Okay, we're all in favor of that. Date math is easier. Okay, for example, what is the date 3 weeks after October 19th? Okay, try this problem under both systems, and you'll see that date math under the Loutetian calendar is a lot quicker. So that's your homework. And finally, what about the Gregorian calendar? Well, the Gregorian calendar was brought in by Pope Gregory in 1582. The problem with Caesar thought there was 365.25 days in the year, when in fact there's 365.2422 days in the year. This little discrepancy meant that by the time 1582 rolled around, they were 10 to 11 days out of where they should be. So what Pope Gregory did is 2 things. First of all, he hacked off 10 days. October the 5th, 1582 was followed by October the 15th, 1582. So 10 days just disappeared. Okay. Secondly, if you were born in an even century, or a century, anytime we bump into the year 2000, 2100, 2200, 2300, in order to be a leap year, you can't be divisible just by 4. You have to be divisible by 400. Okay? So therefore, we have the year 2000 was a leap year. 2100, 2200, 2300 will not be. Okay? So I say that that's no problem. On those particular years, 2100, 2200, 2300, we'll just have a 5-day Ats week, okay, instead of a 6-day Ats week. So that happens once every 100 years or 3 times every 400 years. So the little tweak that Pope Gregory put into the Julian calendar would still go in this one. And it did take some time for people to look at it and work it out. Russia kept the Julian calendar to 1917, and by that time they were 13 days out, or they were still using it by then. So who knows? How long will it take for the Loutetian calendar to come into existence?